This is my show. I am Dhrutiyatri and here are the biggest stories that are making headlines across the globe today. So let's start with it. US imposes 25% tariffs on Iran trade. Dear President Donald Trump announces a 25% tariff on any country continuing trade with Iran. India, a key trading partner, faces direct economic pressure here. Well, this is not a simple trade warning. It's a full-scale economic challenge. Businesses, exports, and diplomacy are all at stake. India must now reassess its Iran ties, and that too right now. India's deep trade with Iran. India exports rice, tea, sugar, pharmaceuticals, and imports saffron, pistachios, and even petroleum from Iran. Trade touches essential goods and industrial products. Well, disrupting this particular trade, it could really impact millions. From daily groceries to strategic imports, India's economy, well, it is intervened with Iran. Triple tariff threat, combining existing tariffs on Indian exports and oil purchases. Iran-related tariffs could really push total US tariffs to 75%. Well, Indian products in the US, they may become unaffordable now. Businesses face losses and competitiveness could collapse. India among top 5 Iran partners. China leads, but India is consistently a top 5 trade partner with Iran. With $1.68 billion in bilateral trade last year, India's exports, it dominates the relationship. Losing access or facing high tariffs could have immediate consequences here. Key exports to Iran. India supplies basmati rice, sugar, tea, spices, fertilizers, industrial chemicals, and pharmaceuticals to Iran. Cutting or even restricting these can actually hurt farmers, exporters, industrial sectors simultaneously. Essential imports from Iran. India receives dates, saffron, pistachios, almond, petroleum chemicals from Iran. Well, disruption threatens food security and industrial production here. Indian industries may struggle to find alternatives very quickly. Economic weapon targeting India. Trump's Iran tariffs, they are strategic and not symbolic here. India is in the crosshair, facing potential losses across multiple sectors. This is economic diplomacy that is turning into pressure now. India must act swiftly to safeguard its trade. US issues urgency advisory. Indians in Iran are urged to leave immediately due to escalating protests and instability. US warns that no embassy, no assistance, no guaranteed safety. The message is stark and it is urgent. Dual nationals at risk. Iran does not recognize dual citizenship here, treating Americans with Iranian nationality as locals. Well, detentions, interrogations, or even restrictions could occur without any warning. Well, the people now face extreme vulnerability. Communication blackout threat. Internet and mobile networks may be shut down in Iran as unrest spreads. Contacting families or consulates may become impossible. Americans are advised to plan for prolonged instability. Travel warning signal. Leaving Iran while flights operate is very important right now. Waiting could trap citizens inside. Well, Washington is sending a rare urgent alert. Personal safety now depends on quick action. Internal unrest in Iran. Nationwide protests against Khamenei. They are intensifying, stretching security forces thin. Foreigners, students, workers, they could be caught in the rising tension here. Escalation could happen without any notice. Economic pressure meets street unrest. US pressure coincides with internal instability in Iran. Protests, internet restriction, and economic stress create a perfect storm here. Tehran faces dual crises at home and abroad. Greenland debates goes global. China issues a sharp warning to Washington over Greenland, citing sovereignty and regional instability here. Big powers cannot treat small nations as chess pieces, right? Arctic resources and shipping lanes are now in the spotlight. Arctic's strategic importance here. Melting ice opens new shipping lanes and resource opportunity. Greenland sits at the center of global strategic calculation. Any US moves over here, it can really trigger international pushback. Competition between superpowers is intensifying. Russia watches closely. Moscow views the Arctic as a core strategic zone as it is expanding the presence here. Greenland's future could really pull the US, China, and even Russia into direct Arctic competition. Greenland no longer neutral. China warns against the US unilateral moves. The Arctic is no longer a quiet zone here. Strategic urgency is replacing the patience now. Trump pushes Greenland invasion idea. White House confirms that Greenland is a top strategic priority for Trump now. The reasoning is blunt. If rivals secure Greenland, it threatens the US and European security. Congressional proposal introduced. Florida Congressman Randy Fine introduces legislation for Greenland invasion. Well, the Arctic is seen as the next global frontline here. Geography, resources, security are cited as key reasons. Resources at stake. Greenland has vast, rare earth minerals essential for weapons, EVs, and tech industries. Control of these resources is considered a strategic move by the United States. Negotiation emphasized, but threat looms. Legislation claims that Greenlanders' consent is the key here, but officials refuse to rule out military options. International anxiety grows while the US maintains a strategic framing. Denmark uneasy. Greenland is under Danish governance. Copenhagen questions the US plans. Sovereignty concerns clash with Washington's urgency to secure strategic advantage here. US frames shared Western security. White House insists that Arctic strategy protects Greenland, Europe, and allies. Well, the narration is prevention and not conquest here, but it is really spectacle. United States military signals on Iran. Pentagon showcases B-2 stealth bombers to signal nuclear red line alert. Well, this display coincides with domestic unrest in Iran, amplifying deterrence messages. Integrated warfare option. Trump's team is considering military, cyber, and psychological with economic tactics simultaneously. The goal is to overwhelm Iran from multiple fronts, basically a buffet of pressure options. Cyber and information warfare. Options include shutting down Iran's digital infrastructure and spreading disinformation. Pressure isn't just physical here, it targets moral, communication, and governance. Trump's unpredictability as a weapon. The choice between limited strikes, silent cyber attacks, or multi-front shocks in his alone. Well, unpredictability itself becomes a strategic tool in global geopolitics. Escalation signals high stakes. Washington's warning, military show, and tariffs indicate serious escalation is underway. Iran faces pressure at home and from abroad simultaneously while the whole Middle East is on the edge. Court order uphold Indian citizen right. US court orders the return of Francisco da Costa illegally deported despite a judicial stay. The ruling reinforces due process, showcasing courts hold authority even against the federal agencies. Medical malpractice shocks the US. An Indian origin gynecologist found guilty of reusing devices without sterilization, risking thousands of patients. Well, the case highlights oversight failures, patient vulnerability, and the consequences in healthcare. And with that, that's a wrap up of our 30 news bulletins from around the globe. I am Dhruti Yatri, giving you all the latest news that matters the most.